Taurus, what is going on with you? Come on in, have a seat, make yourself comfortable. My name's Alan Hill from UnknownTruthTarot.com. Welcome back to another Taurus love reading. Today we are going to take a look at the status of the love connection between you and your romantic person of interest here in October 2025. So let's get started. Let's get one card for what's the mutual point of interest between Taurus and their romantic person of interest here in October 2025. Okay, it's trying to give me extra cards here. I guess we're taking them. Let's see what we have here. That will be there. All right. What's going on with you, Taurus? It has been a while. I moved from Texas back to Ohio about 3 months ago. Not too long after that, I got incredibly ill. I lost about 50 pounds really fast without wanting to lose any weight. I'm just now starting to feel, this has been the first week that I felt worth crap whatsoever, felt like doing much of anything. So I'm back, I'm feeling about 85% now. I've gained maybe 15 pounds back. So I'm heading in the right direction. Let's see what's going on with you in this love connection here in October 2025. What's going on with Taurus as it relates to their romantic person of interest here in October 2025. Thank you. Let's see what we have here. All right. What's going on with your person, Taurus? What's going on with Taurus's romantic person of interest as it relates to Taurus and the connection between them in October 2025, please? Let's get one more. Okay, thank you. Let's see what we have. Normally, I just get one here. I got three. That's throwing me off just a bit. I'm sure there's a reason for it, and we'll find out. The overall energy of this reading, Knight of Pentacles. This is the slowest moving knight in the deck. This is very slow forward movement, usually really monotonous, frustrating kind of an energy. This usually means that someone wants something like really bad, like so bad they wanted it yesterday, but they're getting this slow drip instead. This is one of those energies that from where you sit, it might look like nothing's moving at all, look like no progress is happening. This is just incredibly slow movement. The other thing it can represent is a person who knows what they're supposed to do, but they don't do it for some reason. It can also represent the opposite of that, a person who knows what they're not supposed to do, but they do it anyway. Right behind that Knight of Pentacles, I get the Nine of Pentacles. This is Virgo energy. This is single energy. This is one step back from the Ten of Pentacles. And the Ten of Pentacles would be that combined together life, building a life together. I get that card for people when they're married, engaged, living together, going down that kind of a path of like combining lives together. This is a step back from that. This is single energy. This is about being physically independent, physically single. Sometimes I'll get this card and it doesn't represent a person who actually is single. Sometimes it will represent a person who is presenting themselves like they're single in the physical world when they're not necessarily single. I don't necessarily, well, I do have some things that might be hinting at that. That could be what it's talking about with someone who does something they know they're not supposed to do. But we got this single energy here, and behind that is the Knight of Cups. So we've got two knights already, two action takers. This would be actions toward love and emotions, trying to move forward with romantic offers, romantic gestures, trying to advance a cup of love in some way, move forward romantically in some way. Okay, well, that's the gist of what it looks like this one is going to talk to me about. We'll come back to that as I go through. This mutual point of interest is shared energy that affects both of you in some way here in October 2025, Taurus. It doesn't always affect you both the same way. Sometimes they'll do this and you'll feel the consequences of it, or vice versa. Sometimes they'll say or do something and it makes you start to feel or act this way, or vice versa. Sometimes it's legitimately external stuff happening that's affecting you both. But we got three cards instead of one. Well, hey, we got the Eight of Pentacles, the Queen of Swords, and the Sun. The Eight of Pentacles is more Virgo energy. This is the card of work. It's about putting in the work, time, effort, and energy on something to get what you want, or at the minimum, being willing to put that work in. Central here to this shared energy is the Queen of Swords. This is Libra energy. This is she who knows the truth. She's about facing the truth, speaking the truth on something, and cutting off the thing or the person that isn't in your best interest anymore. And finally, we get the Sun. This is a Leo Major Arcana card. This is the happiest card in the deck. It represents happiness, joy, bliss, harmony. It's really hard to get a better card than the Sun in a love reading when that's what it's talking about. The other thing that the Sun can sometimes represent is this is the card that comes immediately after the Moon in the sequence of the Major Arcana. And when the Moon's out, it's dark outside. That usually represents something being hidden in the dark, some secret being kept. The next step is the Sun comes up and it's not dark anymore, so that thing that was being hidden from me gets illuminated. It gets exposed and I can see it, which is probably why I'm getting the Queen of Swords here with She Who Knows the Truth. Let's clarify this and see what this is really trying to tell you here. Tell me more about this Eight of Pentacles, Queen of Swords, and the Sun. Why is that the shared energy here affecting Taurus and their person of interest? I think one might have flipped over in here. Guess not. Okay. All right. Underlying this shared energy, we have the Two of Swords. This is Libra energy. This is a decision that needs to be made, only it hasn't been made yet for some reason. The person on the card is blindfolded, and that blindfold can represent that I don't have enough information available to me in order to make this decision, which is why I haven't made it. Like I'm missing some information here. There's something I can't see yet. The other thing the blindfold can represent is someone has blinders on. In other words, there's something here that I don't want to see. I don't want to look at it, and avoiding it is preventing me from making a decision. I have something being illuminated. I have She Who actually knows the truth, but there's still this energy of working on it here. Right behind this Two of Swords, I have the Four of Wands. This is Aries energy. Fours represent stability. This would be stability of the home life, the family life, stability of the connection between the two of you. These four wands represent 1111, which is the number of manifesting. In the wands, the 2, 3, and 4 represent the story of manifesting. At the Two of Wands, you decide what it is you want. In the Three of Wands, you've chosen the path, you're taking the actions, and you're waiting on the thing that you want to actually show up. And in the Four of Wands, that's when it arrives. It's stable in the physical reality. You can see the people on the card are celebrating. So sometimes this is a celebration of home and family. Sometimes this is a celebration of the thing that I've been trying to manifest has shown up and it's here in front of me right now. There's some sort of a choice that has not been made about the stability here in this connection is what it's starting to look like. Right behind that Four of Wands is the Nine of Swords. Gemini energy. This is fear, worry, and anxiety. This is thinking about something over and over and over again with all this fear and worry behind the thinking and doing that to the point that it becomes physically stressful. This is a card of mental anguish. It can be sleepless nights, nightmares. I can't concentrate on what I'm doing. I can't eat. It's really an unpleasant kind of an energy. I'm getting called back to this Two of Swords. The person's blindfolded here. In the Nine of Swords, the person has their eyes covered because the situation in their mind, at least, is so bad that they don't want to face it. They don't want to look at it. So I've got two cards already referencing not wanting to see something related to the stability of either the home and the family or stability of this connection. When I clarify this shared energy, I get the Two of Cups, the Nine of Wands, and the World. The Two of Cups is Cancer energy. This is an emotional connection between two people. It is also a two, and twos represent choices or decisions. So this can be a decision about the connection itself. It can represent a decision like a choice between more than one person. This card staring at me right here is it's another choice, but there's some element here either that's not seen or that someone doesn't want to see. Next card here, central to the clarifiers of this shared energy, is the Nine of Wands. This is Sagittarius energy. This is an energy of being walled off and defensive. It's also an energy of healing. This is the wounded warrior. He's got a bandage around his head. He's using one of the wands to hold himself up, to stabilize himself. And he's built this wall around himself as a defense mechanism. It's a way to protect himself so he doesn't get hurt anymore. He doesn't want to be hurt. He's trying to heal so he can get his energy right and take the next step in his journey. So sometimes this can represent that you or this person have been hurt here and you've got your walls up to protect yourself. It's sometimes someone is hiding behind something as a way to protect themselves. Sometimes this is an energy of like, what the hell was I about to say here? Like a barrier that's in the way, like something is in the way here of this connection. Final clarifier I have here is the World. This is the final card of the major arcana. In terms of zodiac signs, it represents the 4 fixed signs: Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, and Scorpio. This is the last card, so it represents completions of cycles, but then at the same time, the beginning of the next cycle. So this is the ending and the next new beginning happening at the same time. There's some sort of a barrier here, some sort of a choice about this connection, potentially whether it's over or whether we can start it back up again. I do see the idea of putting in the work and time, effort, and energy on it. But then there's also some element of seeing something that maybe you didn't want to see, and maybe you can't unsee it at this point. I do have happiness here in the shared energy. Also, the sun has a whole lot of gravity to it, which is why all the planets are in orbit around the sun. It's got all the gravity. So this could indicate that the connection feels incredibly powerful, and maybe it's got such a pull to it and there's so much happiness attached to it that this idea of like something being wrong is like, I don't want to see that. And if there is something wrong, maybe I want to put the work in on that. I will freely admit to you at the early stages of these readings, it is not uncommon whatsoever that I don't understand what the hell I'm talking about yet. This one is seeming a little bit confusing, but I will come back to this as I go through your energy, Taurus, because then I'll be able to see how that applies to you. I'll come back to it again when I go through your person's energy, because then I can see how it applies to them. But that's the shared energy affecting you both here in October 2025. Your first card is the most important card in your energy. It's the Tower. Central for your energy is the 9 of Wands again, and your final card is the 3 of Cups. The Tower is a foundation rocking event. It represents the collapse of some important structure in your life, something coming apart and crashing down all around you here. Most of the time, this will represent the collapse of the relationship. Sometimes this will represent the collapse of a belief system, like this mental model of the world that I've been operating from. Something has happened to shatter that belief. So I'm going to clarify this. Tell me what this Tower is about. Why is that the first card in Taurus's energy here in October 2025, please? Where did you go? There you are. I have one more in the deck here, I think, flipped upright. There we go. Underlying this Tower, 6 of Wands. This is Leo energy of recognition. This is sometimes you getting recognized for something, like being in the spotlight, having the light shined on you and maybe getting recognized, maybe getting patted on the back. Sometimes this is an energy of you coming to some sort of a recognition about something, like you recognizing something. Either way, forward movement happens after this recognition. Right behind this 6 of Wands is Justice. This is the Leo Major Arcana card. This is the most powerful card of balance in the whole deck. It's about doing the right, fair, just thing. The sword that's in this card is used to sever something, like to cut something away that's not in balance, so balance can be restored and then the right, fair, just thing can happen. This card shows up to point out the fact that something unfair or unjust is happening, something very unbalanced is happening, and this points out the need to correct it. So there's some recognition about some unfair, unjust thing happening below the surface. Okay, right behind that Justice card is the Queen of Wands. This is either Leo or Aries energy. This is a bold, passionate, fiery, determined person who knows exactly what she wants. She typically doesn't take no for an answer. 9 times I would expect to get Queen of Pentacles for you, because you're an earth sign. This is the fire element queen, aka the hot queen. This would be the person that there's all this passion and desire and attraction and sexual energy for. It's someone who's very like charming and charismatic and sexy and fun to be around, kind of like a life of the party kind of an energy. But there's something unfair, unjust about this person being here. 9 times out of 10, this represents the other woman. When I clarify the Tower, I get the Emperor, oh hey, the 2 of Wands, the 7 of Cups, and the 3 of Wands. Well, that's interesting because we've already seen the 4 of Wands and the underlying energy in the shared energy. And I told you then that the 2, 3, and 4 are the story of manifesting. Well, now I've got the 2 and the 3 out here in the clarifiers for this Tower. The Emperor is the Aries major arcana card. This is an energy of control. It's about taking control, taking charge of the situation. This is a master manifester in the sense of it's someone who has all the tools, abilities, and resources to put together the plan to get what they want and then execute the plan. This is someone who's calling the shots and making the rules and setting the boundaries. I'm getting way ahead of myself, which I don't want to, but the central energy for your person, Taurus, is also the Emperor, so I'm assuming that this is them. I said this is the person that sets the boundaries. Right here in the center of the clarifiers for the shared energy is that boundary, that wall, that barrier that's coming up. And the very next card I'm going to clarify for you is that same 9 of Wands. So I'm using 2 decks and I've got that barrier in both decks already. I've got the Emperor in both decks already. And that is clearly your person who's the one calling the shots here. Now, that takes me back to that 2 of Swords that was screaming at me on the bottom of the deck when I clarified the shared energy. There's one other thing that sometimes that blindfold means, and it can mean that it's not even my damn decision, it's the other person's decision, and they're not making it. So my hands are kind of tied here, and there's nothing I can really do because they're the one that's in control. Next clarifier for the Tower is the 2 of Wands. This is Aries energy. This is a fork in the road. It's a crossroads in your life. It's a crossroads in this connection. It's a decision point. It's a decision about what do I want my world to be like? What do I want my life to be like? And which of these 2 paths is going to get me there? But it's not quite that simple because you can't turn left and right at the same time. So it's not just about which path am I going to go down, but which path am I going to leave behind me? And it looks like someone else is in control of that decision here. Then I get the 7 of Cups, which is Scorpio energy of options and choices and confusion about the options and choices. There's a lot of cups here. There's a lot of emotions involved. There's a lot of different things I could choose here, and I don't want to pick the wrong cup and make some kind of a mistake. It's even like an illusionary kind of an energy. It's hard to tell which cup to pick. It's hard to tell which of these cups is even real, which of the things in the cups is real. And all the clouds of smoke that are around the cups can represent emotions clouding your judgment, clouding your decision making, someone blowing a smoke screen, trying to obscure things so you can't see what's really going on, bringing me back to the blindfold and the person with their eyes covered. I don't think for a second that you don't actually see what's going on. That's why I've got Queen of Swords here in the shared energy. She who knows the truth. I've got the sun, the thing that would illuminate this truth. Final clarifier for the Tower is the 3 of Wands, more Aries energy. So out of the 4 clarifiers, 3 of them are Aries energy. You might be dealing with an Aries. Hell, you might be dealing with any sign. This is a general collective reading, so it's going to be almost impossible for me to pin down exactly who you're dealing with as an individual person, because I'm not tapping into your individual energy like I would if I was doing a personal reading with you and it's just you and me one-on-one. Here I'm tapping into collective energy of thousands of Taurus people all at the same time. So I'm just going to keep calling these signs out as they stick out to me, just in case they mean anything to you. But this one's Aries energy. It's essentially an energy of waiting. It's the card that comes after this Two of Wands, where I have this choice about what do I want from my life. Well, here, that decision has already been made. The path's been chosen. They've started down the path. They're taking actions down the path, trying to create the thing that they want. And it's also about having this positive expectancy that the thing I want is going to happen. It just hasn't happened yet. So it's about kind of like waiting on that to materialize in the physical reality. But there's this confusion between the decision about what I want and actively taking steps toward it. Could also just be, this isn't even, it's very common that even though this is your side of the table and your energy, that the whole first card in the first column of clarifiers ends up being something from this person showing up over here because whatever they're doing is affecting you so strongly. Central for your energy, Taurus, is that Nine of Wands. Again, we already saw that here in the clarifiers for the shared energy. It's Sagittarius energy of being walled off and defensive. It's also an energy of healing. It's about not wanting to be hurt, putting up this wall as a way to protect myself. It can even represent someone having put a barrier in your way. Tell me about this Nine of Wands. Why is that the central energy, Taurus, in this love connection here? I just saw the Hanged Man flip face up, showed itself to me, and apparently has flipped right back face down and not come out. That does not mean the Hanged Man energy isn't present. It is certainly present. That's why it made it a point to show itself to me. When it doesn't come out, that usually means someone's trying to contain it and hold it in, and they don't want it to come out in the open. The Hanged Man would be progress is halted, no forward movements happening, things are stuck, it's not going to move. It's also someone who's looking outside of themselves for what is the problem. They're not looking at their role in the situation. That's feeling like this person over here. Underlying this Nine of Wands energy, this barrier, I get the Four of Wands again. So there we are, 2, 3, and 4 of Wands. More Aries energy, stability of the home life, the family life, stability of the connection. It's also that final stage in manifesting where the thing I want has shown up, but there's some sort of a wall in the way. Right behind that Four of Wands, Nine of Swords again. Gemini energy, fear, worry, and anxiety, stressing out about something. Got my eyes covered because I don't want to face the situation. I'm worried about the stability here. I have fear and worry and anxiety about the stability. You can't make it up. Two of Swords. There's some decision that needs to be made about the stability of this connection. There's a choice about this connection here. That choice about the connection is directly touching the card of putting in the work, time, effort, and energy on it. Are we going to do that or not? Is this wall going to stop us from reaching the end of whatever this negative cycle is and starting a new cycle where it's not where we have happiness? Okay, but whoever's decision that is, isn't making it. I see this a lot when I do personal readings, like the person that I'm reading for, I'll see that, but it's not my decision, it's their decision. And that's not really true. You have agency, you have free will, you can choose whatever it is that you want. You don't have to tolerate somebody else controlling everything. You don't have to tolerate somebody blowing a smoke screen. Whatever is going on that you have all this fear, worry, and anxiety about, you can't really have any control over it if you don't take the blinders off, if you don't take your hands off of your eyes and at least face this. I got that Queen of Swords right here in the center of the shared energy. She who knows the truth. She's about facing the truth, speaking the truth, and then cutting off something that isn't in your best interest anymore, whether that's a thing or a person. When I clarify this Nine of Wands, I get the Hermit, the Three of Pentacles, and the Five of Wands. The Hermit is the Virgo Major Arcana card. This is a card of withdrawal, isolation. Sometimes this will represent communication shutting down. There's a barrier in the way. This is a card at its core that is about being forced inside yourself to do soul searching, deep inner reflection, deep contemplation. It's about using this light here, shining your light down into the shadows of yourself to look around in there and find out what adjustments do I need to make about me so I can move forward the right way. I get this card a lot when someone gets ghosted. I get this card a lot when someone doesn't have closure for the ending of the cycle, or something has happened and maybe now a barrier's been put in the way between the two of you, and maybe you don't know what's going on, you don't have any closure. It's sitting right beside the Emperor, so someone else looking like they're in control of this, and you maybe being forced to do some soul searching about that. Next, I have the Three of Pentacles. This is Capricorn energy of teamwork, collaboration, working together as equals to build something of value. This is usually laying the foundations for the Ten of Pentacles. I referenced that when I was telling you about the Nine of Pentacles in the shared energy. This is a step backwards from the 10, that combined together life, building a life together. This would be laying the groundwork for that, and it's supposed to be us doing it together as equals. It's sitting right beside the Two of Wands, which again is that decision point about what do I want my life to be like? And which path is going to get me to that, and which path do I have to leave behind? The question that this is begging is, in this situation that you're in, is it actually equal? Do you want your life to be equal, or do you want your life to be where someone else is in control of it? That's really the key choice for you that I see so far. Next, I have the Five of Wands. This is Leo energy. Fives are conflict. Wands are about passion or desire. So this would be an internal conflict in my desires, where a piece of me wants this person and another piece of me doesn't really like being controlled, doesn't like being confused. There's multiple different parts of myself that are pulling in different directions. So it's about like an internal tug of war match in terms of what is it that I actually want. And that's sitting right beside the Seven of Cups, which is confusion about my options and choices. Emotions clouding my judgment, clouding my decision making. I read these to you in columns, but then I connect it in rows as I go along. And so far, the only thing that has nothing to go with it in the bottom row is this Three of Wands, this energy of waiting. The only thing, like there's a void in the information beside the waiting, and that void is connected to that internal conflict about being pulled in different directions. Final card for you, Taurus, is the Three of Cups. This is Cancer energy. It's got two distinct meanings. Meaning one, it's about being united and celebrating, about being together, or even about being reunited and celebrating, like getting back together, reconciling. Meaning number two is a third-party love triangle, because we have three cups of love in the picture here. That could be why we have the fear, worry, anxiety, and stress about the stability of the home life. It could be why someone's being controlling and trying to cloud things up so you can't quite see it here. Tell me more about this Three of Cups. Why is that the final card for Taurus in this connection? Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Underlying that Three of Cups energy, Justice, the Libra Major Arcana card. Again, this card shows up to point out something unfair and unjust is happening, something unbalanced is happening, and this points out the need to correct that. It's underlying this Three of Cups. Well, if this is reconciliation and getting back together, this would be saying that's an unbalanced, unjust thing that shouldn't be done and that needs cut away. If this is talking about a third-party love triangle, it's saying that's an unfair, unjust thing that shouldn't be happening. Oh, I have the Hierophant right behind that. That is your Major Arcana card, Taurus. This is a card of commitment. Sometimes this gets labeled as a marriage card. In a relationship, this is about being fully committed to the relationship, taking it to the next level. I get this card for people when they're married, engaged, going down that kind of a path, fully committed. Doesn't necessarily mean you are married to this person, Maybe that's part of the belief that was shattering here. Maybe you had that idea in mind of we're going to go down that path, and you're fully committed to the relationship. Yeah, behind that commitment, we have that recognition happening again. That Leo 6 of Wands, recognizing something. Probably recognizing the third cup of love here. That's probably why I have She Who Knows the Truth here, and the Sun where it gets illuminated. So probably why I have the Two of Cups in the shared energy. A choice about this connection, maybe a choice about two different connections. When I clarify the Three of Cups, Five of Swords, Temperance, the High Priestess, and Strength. The Five of Swords is Aquarius energy. Fives are conflict. This can be a big fight that ends things. This is sometimes, pretty frequently, this is a betrayal of some kind. It can even be dealing with a person who has this winning at all costs mentality, where collateral damage is fine to them as long as they get what they want. That's all they care about. So it can be that kind of an energy. At its core, this card is a mentally and psychologically painful situation or event taking place. A betrayal when we've got Three of Cups next to it. It's also sitting right beside the Hermit and the Emperor. So someone else over here is in control of this. They've probably betrayed you and didn't give you closure. Maybe they ghosted you. Maybe they shut the communications down and put barriers in the way to where you can't actually talk with them. Put a barrier in the way of your connection. There's already been an ending of one cycle, probably with you, and the beginning of the next cycle, probably with that Queen of Wands that we saw, this third cup of love, the betrayal. Next we have Temperance, which is the Sagittarius Major Arcana card. This is a card of recalibration. It's sometimes patience, where I'm not in this huge hurry and I'm willing to make fine-tuning adjustments to something along the way so we can get it just right. In tarot, water represents love, and here the love has been separated into two different cups, and she's recombining it back together. So it can represent reconciliation, just like the Three of Cups can sometimes represent reconciliation. But when you've got Five of Swords between them, and you've got justice, something unfair happening underneath that, this is supposed to be a recalibration of your emotions, like recalibrating yourself. This card shows up when something is severely out of whack and it needs readjusted to bring it back into being like stable and correct again. There's this idea of teamwork and collaboration and working together as equals to build something here. But there's also this choice about, is that what I want, or do I want to go down a different path? And that seems like it's your person's choice more than it is yours, which to me sounds like that is what you want. And I mean, I've got the card of putting in the work and effort on it here. And I've got two cards that could be considered reconciling type energy. But that betrayal, that the winning at all costs, the person who's in control, and again, I've got the Emperor central to their energy, don't necessarily think that's what they want. Which is bringing me back to the Five of Wands. That could also be an internal conflict between the two of you, where that is what you want, but it's not what they want, and you guys are pulling against each other instead of both pulling in the same direction. Either way, the next clarifier for that Three of Cups is the High Priestess. This is She Who Knows, period. We have She Who Knows the Truth here in the shared energy. This is just She Who Knows. She sits in front of the veil of consciousness. She sees everything. She knows everything. She doesn't always tell us everything, though. Sometimes there's just stuff we're not meant to know as humans. Sometimes there's stuff we don't need to know until it's time. And she clues you in through your intuition, through gut feelings, signs, synchronicities, a dream that has a message in it. It's some form of an internal knowing where you know something without having any physical way of knowing it. The problem with that is 9 times out of 10, your intuition is going to tell you some stuff you don't want to hear. It's going to tell you stuff you don't want to be true. Hence seeing that Two of Swords and the Nine of Swords there. I've seen it, Two of Swords and Nine of Swords in the underlying energy as I've clarified your side. When it's telling you something you don't want to hear, and on top of that, you don't have the proof, you don't have the facts to support it, it's really hard to listen to this. And it's easy to kind of like try to sweep it under the rug and ignore it and pretend like it's not there. The problem is your intuition isn't wrong. And we've got that internal conflict beside it. That could be an internal conflict between what I want to be true versus what my intuition is telling me. It's also got that 7 of Cups in the same row. Emotions clouding your judgment, clouding your decision making. The final clarifier for this 3 of Cups is strength. This is the Leo Major Arcana card. Actually, there's 2 Leo Major Arcana cards. I have both of them out here, the Sun and Strength. This is about going through a very difficult situation that's taking all of your internal strength to make it through it. You have the strength to make it through it. You're just kind of being forced to dig down deep inside yourself and find it and tap into it and put it to use. Hence, like the barrier being in the way, and now you're being called inward, inside yourself. The other thing strength can represent is a person trying to tame this beast inside themselves. The lion in that case would represent like these primal urges and desires and impulses. And the lady in the white gown represents your conscience, like your ability to tell right from wrong. And she's taming the beast because she's trying to stop it from rushing off and making some kind of a mistake here. It would be like letting the bull loose in the china shop, and she's trying to contain that. So it can be a person who's struggling against that piece of themselves to not make a mistake, trying to contain that piece of themselves. The problem with that is, like, if that lion wants to get away from her, this lady has zero hope at stopping it. It will just maul her ass and go do whatever the hell it wants. It's chilling out because it's deciding to stay cool right now. So most of the time when a person's struggling against that beast inside themselves, ultimately they lose that struggle. But this is looking like you having a very difficult time either with something your intuition has pointed out to you, having a difficult time because maybe there's a third party, there's a betrayal, there's all this really out of balance, pointing out the need to correct things type of an energy here. Central, like the very center card for your whole side is teamwork, collaboration, working together as equals to build something of value. So far, if I'm being real with you, this doesn't seem very equal. It seems like this person is running the show and you're just kind of like at their mercy. Even in this last row, I have waiting on this thing that I want to happen and believing the thing I want is going to happen. It just hasn't. And then I've got a hole in the information and this idea of this being very hard to make it through. That's your energy in this connection for October 2025, Taurus. Let's get some more room here. Take a look at your person's energy because this is probably where you're going to find out what you need to know. First card in their energy is the most important for them. They got the 8 of Wands. Central for their energy is the Emperor. And their final card is the High Priestess. This 8 of Wands is Sagittarius energy, second fastest moving energy in the deck. This is very fast forward movement or progress on something there's a lot of passion and desire for. It can represent travel over distance. It can represent rapid back and forth passionate communication. It can even represent a whole lot happening all at once, like way too much, too fast, too much to process, and it can be really overwhelming energy here. It is also a tremendous amount of desire. What we got going on with this 8 of Wands, please? Why is that the first card for Taurus' person in this connection? Where did you go? There we are. Let's get one more for this 8 of Wands, please. Thank you. Feels like there's more in there, but we're going to go with this. Underlying this 8 of Wands energy. Justice again. Libra Major Arcana. Something unfair and unjust is going on related to this. So this is either them moving forward like in passion and desire very fast, or they're doing passionate communications with someone very fast. Maybe they traveled and something unfair happened during the travel. Not 100% sure, but it's something passion and desire related that's unfair and unjust. Oh, then we get Judgment, the most powerful decision card in the deck. This is about passing a final verdict in judgment on something. In a relationship reading, this is one of two things. Either A, we're calling this dead and over with and there is no coming back from it. Or B, we're going to try to resurrect it and bring it back to life and transform it so that it's never the same way again. It's trying to raise the dead, bring something back to life. There are 3 cards in the deck that represent reconciliation. The 3 of Cups, Temperance, and Judgment. I was hesitant to say that to begin with because I know how I've done enough of these readings and read enough of the comments to see how this works. And so far, this reading has not been good news. It's not telling you what you want to hear. It's pretty much telling you what your intuition has been telling you, that something bad wrong is happening. And this far into the reading, like you'll probably see it in the comments later on if you go look through it, someone is going to be like, oh, see, I knew they were coming back. You said reconciliation, and that's the only thing they hear. They completely miss the Tower. They completely miss the betrayal. They completely miss the 3rd cup of love, the Queen of Wands that we saw, the truth. Like they miss all of that, and the only thing they hear is reconciliation because that's what they want to happen. And that's why I was seeing 2 of Swords, the 9 of Swords, where nope, I don't see it. I don't want to see it. I'm in denial about it. This is not me predicting that they are going to come back and resurrect this connection. This is looking like the unfair thing is they've called this dead and over with. They've made a decision here. Powerful decision card. They've made the decision to kill this connection by moving forward with all this passion and desire. Whether that started out as passionate messages or that's just like full-blown, like, let me at her kind of an energy here. Something isn't right. Yeah, I got the Ace of Cups right behind it. A new beginning in love and emotion. So even though I have 3 cards out here that can sometimes represent reconciliation, every card has multiple meanings, and this is not talking about reconciliation. I just want to make that clear for whoever that was for. When I clarify this 8 of Wands, I get the 9 of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords, and the 6 of Wands. The 9 of Pentacles is Virgo energy. Again, we saw that here in the shared or the overall energy, the single energy. Again, it doesn't seem like this person is single. It seems like they were in a committed relationship with you. They started acting single and started moving forward romantically here. Started having all this very fast forward movement on passion and desire, presenting themselves as single when they're not. Then I get the Ace of Swords, which is the sword of truth. And I don't think they're giving you the truth. I've got the Hermit. It doesn't look like they're giving you any information. I've got 2 barriers in the way. Even a barrier here attached to the person who knows the truth and faces the truth and speaks the truth. I've got the 7 of Cups, someone clouding everything up for you. The other thing this can represent is it's the sword you would use to make a decision with, which we see the most powerful decision card here, and it's an unfair, unjust decision. It's also the sword you would use to sever a connection. I'm acting single when I'm not, and I'm probably severing this connection to move very quickly on something. And then we get that 6 of Wands again, Leo energy of recognition. It's them being recognized for something, getting recognized for the truth that they're acting single when they're not and moving forward in ways they should not be moving forward. Central to their energy is the Emperor, Aries Major Arcana. This is the person who's in control. They've taken control. They've taken charge of the situation. They're calling the shots. They're making the rules. They're setting the boundaries. They're doing whatever they want because, damn it, I'm the boss and what I say goes. Why is the Emperor central to this person's energy, please? Get one more, please. Notice how they don't want to give me everything here. I'm going to have to shuffle through one more time. Yeah, I see. Let's get one more. Thank you. Wow. Underlying this Emperor energy, Page of Wands. Pages are messengers, and wands are about passion and desire. Passionate messages, passionate communications, expressing interest, expressing desire, talking about what I want. It's also the minor arcana version of the Fool. And the Fool's about just taking a blind leap of faith on this brand new thing, and I'll figure it out as I go. This is a toned down version of that. This is someone who has the willingness to take the very first steps down a brand new path towards something there's passion and desire for. So I'm clarifying the Emperor, the person who's running the show, and I get a card about passionate communications. Sitting right beside the Emperor is rapid back and forth passionate communications. Also tied to the Emperor is another wand energy right here. So I got a lot of passion, desire, sexual energy stuff there. Right behind this passionate messages, justice again. Libra Major Arcana. Something unfair, unjust is going on related to these passionate communications. Yeah, it's unfair and unjust because there's the Hierophant in the background again. Your Major Arcana card, the commitment. Wow. Like I said, this gets called a marriage card sometimes. I don't know that you are married to the person. You could be. It doesn't even have to represent legally married. It can just be like fully committed relationship. When I clarify the Emperor, I get the Four of Wands, which is another one of those cards that gets labeled as a marriage card. The Five of Pentacles and the Ace of Cups again. Four of Wands. We've already seen it a couple of times. 2, 3, 4. The thing that I want has materialized. It's shown up in the physical reality right in front of me, and it's on your person's side. I've got you trying to choose and waiting, and I've got them getting the thing that they want over here. That's tied directly to this Nine of Pentacles, acting single when I'm not single. Or potentially are single at this stage. I did see Judgment and the Ace of Swords, so they could have already cut you off at this point. Hell, that might be why I've got the idea of you wanting to work on it and them putting the kibosh on that and cutting it off to go after what would be their happiness. It could be why there's a connection here that they've put a barrier in the way of, and they have ended one cycle and started the next cycle. That next cycle is about their happiness. Didn't we see, yeah, Five of Swords right here. As long as I get what I want, I don't really care what happens to you. This is about my happiness, not yours. That's kind of what this person is feeling like here. Now, this could also be that they're trying to take control of the stability of your home life and your family life and put barriers in your way on that stuff. And they should be working together as equals with you, but they're clearly not. The next card to clarify the Emperor is the Five of Pentacles. Again, fives are conflict, change. This is Taurus energy here. This is abandonment. It's casting aside, leaving someone out in the cold, discarding them. This is a breakup energy. And it's sitting right next to the sword that you would use to cut someone out of your life with. The final clarifier for the Emperor is the Ace of Cups, a new beginning in love and emotions. We have the connection here in the shared energy. 2 + 1 = 3. That's how you get the third cup of love. They have added a new person into the mix here. And I think this is the recognition that there is indeed a new person. And that could be the barrier that's part of the barrier that's in the way. It looks like at some point you do find out the truth of what is going on with that. You probably already knew that before you came into the reading. Like I don't do future predictions. Like to me, that's silly to even attempt to predict the future. That's all just fantasy made up bullshit. Your future isn't determined already. So the only way I could read your future was if it was already determined, and it's not. Your future is determined in the moments of your decisions. If it wasn't, like let's just do a thought experiment. If your decisions didn't determine your future, that means you could literally jump headfirst out of the window of a 10-story building and it would have no effect on you. Like, because no, your future is already predetermined. We both know that's not true. If you jump out that window, you're going to splatter all over the ground. So your decisions absolutely control what happens in the future here. So I don't attempt to make future predictions because it's not real, number one. And number two, even if it was, it would take away your agency. It would take away your free will and your ability to choose what you want for your life. So this is looking like you probably already knew they had another person before you showed up. If not, you know now. Final card here in your person's energy is the High Priestess. Again, we've already seen that on your side. So your intuition is all over the place here. She who knows the truth. Tell me about this High Priestess. Why is that the final card for Taurus's romantic person's interest here in October 2025? See, they don't want to give more information. This is looking like a spot where maybe you don't have the actual facts, but your intuition knows what's going on. And see, I get that High Priestess and the Seven of Swords together a lot, because that would represent that the person knows you don't actually have the facts. It's just a feeling. It's a hunch that you have. It's an intuitive hit. And the clouds of smoke is them like trying to blow a smoke screen to prevent you from actually seeing what's really going on. Trying to cloud things up for you. Make you doubt your own intuition. Make you not trust yourself. That's part of the control mechanism that they're running. And that's probably part of what this barrier is that they're trying to put in the way. I mean, I see here with the Hermit that you don't have the communication from them. You probably don't have the actual facts and like the closure that you would need. What's going on with this High Priestess? Let's get two more for that card, please. Underlying the High Priestess, Page of Wands. Passionate messages, passionate communications, someone who has the willingness to take the first step down a brand new path toward passion and desire. And we have the Chariot behind that. This is the fastest energy in the deck. It's the only thing faster than this Eight of Wands that they have. So there's a lot of speed on their side of the table here. There's also an imbalance in this energy here. We got the shadow side and the light side, and the driver has no reins to control this. So if both of those pieces of himself are not in alignment, pulling the same direction, this thing isn't going anywhere. Or worse yet, it will tear itself in half as it tries to move forward because two different parts are pulling in two different directions. I alluded to that over here with this internal conflict of the Five of Wands. This is really fast energy. It can indicate travel. This can just indicate getting the hell out of Dodge lickety-split, like really fast. When I clarify the High Priestess, I get the Ace of Wands, the Ten of Pentacles. It came out upside down. I don't read reversals. You've probably seen me flip cards right side up as I've been doing this reading. I just don't really pay attention to it most of the time. Sometimes I notice when I do it, but I just automatically turn them right side up. Well, this one came out upside down. Then I get the Knight of Cups. The Ace of Wands. This is a passionate new beginning, a new beginning in passion and desire. This is the phallic symbol of the tarot deck. It represents the male you-know-what and using it to do you-know-what and sexual energy and all that fun stuff. Sitting right beside this person who presents themselves as single when they're not. Right beside this idea that the thing that I want has shown up in front of me. It's materialized. Also, that stability of home and family and connection, but this wand is kind of like probably in the way of that actually being stable. This is looking like your intuition knew they were doing stuff that they were not supposed to be doing, which is taking me back to here. The person who knows what they're not supposed to do and does it anyway. Acting single when I'm not supposed to. Knight of Cups. Moving forward with romantic offers and gestures and actions. That card's out here again. Next we have Ten of Pentacles. We've alluded to this a couple of times with that Nine of Pentacles. This is the combined together life. Building a life together where we have combined lives together. Either married, living together, fully committed relationship in the physical sense. It's sitting right beside this Five of Pentacles. That's half of that energy. That's abandoning this. If this is a marriage, it's also in the row with the Ace of Swords, the sword you would cut things away with. When you get it, when you're married or even just living together for a period of time, when you leave, you don't get to take everything. You get half of it. And this is a card not just of like abandonment, but it can also be financial loss. And that financial loss is in the column with the Emperor, like wanting to control that, wanting to control the stability of that. Final card here for the High Priestess is the Knight of Cups. Actions toward love and emotions, moving forward with romantic offers, romantic gestures, trying to advance a cup of love in some way. I have recognition of something, recognizing the new cup of love, and moving forward with that new cup of love. Even the way it's laid on the table, both of these two guys are headed in that direction away from your energy here, which this cycle between the two of you has come to an end, and they have started a new cycle. Looks like the truth got illuminated for you. I think part of the barrier for you might also be this idea of putting in the work, time, effort, and energy on it, or at least having the willingness to do that. That might be what this is describing about you, as the person who knows what they shouldn't do, but they're doing it anyway. Maybe because I don't want to be by myself. I don't want to be single. Could be that. But there's definitely a barrier in the way of this connection. This is also a choice for you about the connection. I see the choice for you here, and it looks like they're in control of the choice, but like I said, that's not actually true. You still have agency here. You can still make decisions about what you want your life to be like, what you want your relationships to be like, what is happiness for you. I've seen the Hierophant repeatedly. What does real commitment look like to you? What does real love look like to you? Like, get the picture of what real love and real commitment looks like, and compare that against the picture of what you have with this person. Do they match or do they not match? It's about facing the truth of that and then cutting off the thing or the person that isn't in your best interest anymore.